Hi everybody, it's Rachel and Anthony.
Hello.
From Don't Crop Me Now. We thought we'd give you a little bit of an update of what's going on at the allotment. So it's mid-March now, so Anthony's going to hand the camera over and we're just going to show you around our various plots and see what we've been up to in the recent times. So we have got our newest plot, which is plot 5B. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of a disaster with our usual deliveries of rotted manure, and due to the really wet weather, essentially they're not coming. So I've had a total panic about this plot because we've got so much other space. I just do not have the amount of compost that I need to be able to cover this plot. So I was so committed to doing this completely from the beginning with no dig, but without those large amounts of compost, I've just got no chance on this plot, unless I want to cover it and just not use it for a year, which I didn't want to do. So I have decided that we are going to dig this plot. So we've covered it up. I see the rain's been on this, but at least it means that it's not going to get any worse. And then on this section here, Anthony has just rough turned it over. So this is actually the best part of the plot, and you can see that it's got a lot of some bindweed there, a lot of bindweed mainly in this section. This is the bit that we hacked out all of the raspberry canes. So, and surprisingly, you couldn't see any bindweed growing on this plot. So obviously bindweed doesn't compete that well when you have other plants growing, because there's a lot of bindweed here. The rest of the allotment there, I know it don't look too bad because it's been covered up, but it's really bad. It's full of lots of creeping buttercup, like a massive mat of couch grass, particularly on the bit where the white matting is over there. So that's that plot. So I'm feeling like a little bit down about the fact we've decided to dig it, because I really didn't want to, but I want to use it this year and I think it's the only way in the circumstances. So that's our new half plot. This is plot 4, which is our main plot. So we have got some stuff still on here. So there's some winter types of kale there, which I haven't picked that much from, so we might start having some of that. There's Anthony, who is just potting up some onion and shallot sets. We've got some this is just all the compost from the potato tubs, which will eventually go back onto that bed there. That green thing is the roof that was off the pergola when we used to have it over there before we put the shed up. I'm going to use this to build a roof over the composting area, so that's why it's there at the moment. I've just tried to weight it down with those tubs of compost so it doesn't blow away. We've actually got 4 sheets of that, so that's the plan really with those. So the rest of the plot is looking pretty good. Because we haven't got our usual source of this composted manure, and we seriously get like about 10 tonnes, so it's been like a real disaster for me. I have decided that we are going to buy in some compost to do plot 4, which it's going to cost us quite a lot of money, but this plot has been no dig for quite a number of years now. It's got no weeds on it, it really doesn't. So if we look at a typical bed, well, we've had the new no dig bed, so you can see there, this is a bed I've not mulched this for this year. You can see where it's got the odd weed on it, so it's not really got any bad weeds in. That's a raspberry there coming through because the raspberries are there. So what I will do is we're just going to mulch with bought compost. So I'm going to get hold of some large amounts of compost. So I've started doing some. So like that one's been done. That one. That's what we're going to do really with plot 4, is buy the compost. I'm just going to put literally an inch because there's no weeds in it and it's got a massive thick layer of compost over a number of years. So the recent storms did a good battering to my sort of poly squares things that I have over some of these beds, so I had to take them apart and we'll probably have to rebuild some of those. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. So if I go to the front, you can see plot 4. So I mean, ultimately that's not got that much work really to do. It's just sort of mulching over the top and then we're ready to plant on there. So that is plot 4. We're seeing some good signs of spring. Got some plants coming through, a lot of daffodils on this front bit, which is nice. I'm going to just go over to our other 2 half plots, so I'm just going to have to do a little bit of quick walking. So I'm going to go over and show you plot 2B, which is our fruit plot really. So it's just mainly trees and bushes, so there's not much on here in terms of stuff that needs maintenance. It looks a bit rickety because we've used loads of old pieces of wood to try and build frames. We used to have the full plot of this, but then at one point we decided we wanted to downgrade, and then like I do, I just keep on getting more plots. But as you can see on here, I need to sort those strawberries out, but other than that, things are starting to bud up really. That's like a red currant. You can see here that this cherry tree, leaves are starting to form. We've got blueberries. So there are bits and bobs of weeds on these there. So what I will do is I'll just pull them out. And then around the trees, so I have not done anything on this other than do some pruning since probably November, even September. So you can see here where we've got quite a lot of weed seeding. So I will just hoe them off, and I will put some more wood chips down in this area. Rhubarb is doing well. And that there is an apple. That one. Just budding up. If you see these hanging around our ground, they're traps for codling moth, which we do have a problem with on our ground, and since we've been using them, we don't have any problems, so that's great. We have got, this was going to be our manure storage area. I do think that as a ground we'll be able to get a source of this manure, but it's just going to have to be later in the year, so I will put it into this storage area and then stack it up and just keep it for next year. That's my plan. It's what I can do for spring. You can see got some nice daffodils there. They've come on really early, I think, because of all the shelter. We do have some compost, a bit, probably about half a ton in there, which is not last year but the years before compost, so I will be able to use that. I'm planning to use that on 1B. That's my compost pile we're still adding to, and another compost pile. So there you can see the storage area, which that was my plan to use. It didn't quite work out. So now if we look at 1B, obviously that greenhouse needs a really good clean. It's quite messy under there, but because it's right underneath that tree, I just feel I can't really do anything with it over winter because the whole plot gets covered in leaves, so I just ignore it really. And because I wanted to start planting, I didn't clean it before I started planting, but I will, once I get some of this early stuff out, because we're putting a new greenhouse up on the back of plot 5, I will give it a bit of a clean because it's a bit of a mess. If I'll have a look in the greenhouse, we've got potatoes, we've got a few things coming through. They're multi-sown beetroots. We've got sweet peas. These are various types of flowering plants that I've ordered that I need to pot up today. I had kept some chilies. Here's one. This is not actually dead, so I don't know whether it, there's hope that it might start sprouting, so I'm not giving up on that yet. I think those two are past it. And then I've got some brassicas here that need pricking out, and there's some broad beans just coming through. And there is some, I think they are spring onions that are just starting to show. The rest of the stuff that I had in the greenhouse, I've actually put out on these shelves that are in front of the greenhouse, because it's mainly things like garlic, and so that needs harding off. So there's very little wind in this here, because you can see it's like a really built up around here. Those plants there, this verbena, you see like how tall, and they were there in the massive storms, so I'm not worried about things getting blown off. So we've got mainly the garlic there, so it can sort of harden off there. I mean, it's pretty hardy anyway, but I just need some space because we're going to pot up a lot of onions and quite a lot of seeds we're going to plant today, so I needed the space in the greenhouse. Just got various types of perennials which we're going to use for the flower bed, and then on that bit there, that's got peas in. So I've mainly cleared this plot. Again, this is the no dig, so you can see that it's not really got many weeds in. I've not weeded this. I have just pulled everything down that was on it, and then I will mulch over this with our compost that we've made ourselves, I'm hoping. So got, 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 lots of tulips and daffodils coming up. I have started to attempt to deal with this bamboo, which is, I know I made a video about it a while ago, it's like a nightmare. So I did get it out of that bit there, and it was matted within a membrane, so that membrane there was underneath it, and it was a hard job, I say, to get that out. But I've got those bits out. I'm hoping that this year we'll just get that clump at the front, this one, out, and we're going to ignore those for now. Perhaps each winter just try to sort of hack it back each time, I think, just to get it under control. And I'm just going to put a pumpkin or something there and train it up along that fence. I have got my pond, which, oh, look at that. Oh, I hadn't seen this yet. Look at all that frog spawn. Last weekend I did go in there with a net, and I was trying to get some of these leaves out because there were loads of leaves in there, and there were 2 mating frogs that I pulled out, so I quickly popped them back in again. So we have got loads of frog spawn in there, so that is a really good sign. So if I show you the other part of 1B, because we were going to give this up because we're taking on the other one, but I think I'll just use it for now and then think about what we're going to do really in the winter. So that back area needs tidying up, so I've got some stuff there that I've just sort of plonked, compost and things. This flower bed, I've hacked a lot of the stuff back, and Anthony's going to bring his leaf blower down when we get a dry day and blow all those leaves off, so I can see more clearly where a lot of these perennial plants are in, so then I can decide how I'm going to clear this up and maybe split a few things. Not sure what I'm going to do with that climbing plant on the back. I might really hack it back. I bought some climbing plants to put up, and I'm going to put some sunflowers, I think, up there. We need a bit of privacy. We get along very well with the lady that lives there. She actually used to have this plot a long time ago, so I know her well. So we need some sort of privacy because it's not really got a proper border. But it was so out of control, that flower bed, that I've dug a lot of stuff out of it and cut it back, including cutting back that magnolia quite a lot. So once we've got the leaves blown out of the way, I'm going to put some more of these perennials back in and hopefully get that looking a little bit tidier, and then I'll put some new climbing plants up along that fence to make it look nice and a little bit of privacy. So that's 1B. You can see that there's not much to do with it. I have not mulched over on yet, but that's going to be the main job. And this is just various stuff that I need to tidy up around here. So some of those polyhouses need some good fixing too. You can see on top of this one, obviously there are some holes in it. It's meant to drain downwards, but it's currently just full of leaves, so I need to do something with that. So that is plot 1B. So that's our 4 plots, with full plots, 2 half plots. Oh, 4 plots when I say that, actually. We've got another one now, haven't we? So it's 5 plots. And just to finish there, I don't know if you can see that, there's a robin right on that fence there, just carrying a load of bedding stuff. We get a lot of birds in this corner because of these trees. There it is. And off it goes. So goodbye everybody for now. Hopefully that gets you an idea of what we're up to. I think we've got quite a lot of work in terms of prep for this season to do, particularly because of 5B taking on being in such a mess really. But the other plots, hopefully, I've had a lot more work to do at this time frame, so I've been looking back on past pictures trying to console myself to say that it's been much worse than this, and I've got it done. So I'm going to go back over to Anthony. We're going to do a load of planting today. I'll put some photos up on the blog of what we've been doing as well. So take care everybody. Bye for now.